sitting in FitWorks Hybrid Training Gym in DeKalb, Illinois. We're going to do a little something different today. We're going to talk about why it's important for you to get off your ass, get off the couch, and start moving. You'll notice that there is a blood pressure cuff and a stethoscope. I think the technical name for this is sphygmometer. Anyways, you get the idea. I got my blood pressure checked today by one of our members that's a nurse, 118/76. That was after having 1.5 of these and some coffee. For the record, there's about as much caffeine in here as a moderate home-brewed or low caffeine home-brewed cup of coffee. So I don't want to hear how bad Monsters are. We can talk about all the bad stuff you're doing. Anyways, get moving. Why the benefits? Why the blood pressure cuff? Why the stethoscope? Yesterday morning, one of my kids was up earlier than normal. We had the TV on. He was doing his bottle. I was doing my cup of coffee. Again, more of that caffeine stuff. I caught a segment, or the start of a segment, on a revised cardiovascular study that they ended early, and I didn't get a chance to see the follow-up. Yesterday afternoon and today I pulled up the actual study, read pieces of it, read some of the news articles in various publications, and here's this skinny on it. It was a sprint study done by the National Institute of Health. They were looking at how low should blood pressure be. So that top number in your blood pressure, the systolic number, they used to want to get you to around 140. In older people or elderly populations, they had this concern that if we got it too low, we could impair brain function, yada, 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 yada. At any rate, the study ended early. That's what made me want to dig into it more. What they found was if your blood pressure is the top number, your systolic number is closer to that 120, possibly even better, you are 25% less likely to die. So they actually saw 25% of the people in the study not pass away. So I guess they didn't end up dead. And then they saw a 33% reduction in stroke. And the numbers, the data was so conclusive that this study was going to end in 2017. They ended it early. And then, of course, it goes on to talk about drugs, pharmaceutical products, not so much the actual study, but on the news outlets, they pointed right to more blood pressure medicine. Let's get the blood pressure lower. People will live longer, be less likely to have a stroke. The reason I'm taking issue, I'm talking about it, is quite simply, hey, look, what if there's another way? What if you can get moving? What if you can do things on your own that does not mean another prescription or an increased amount of your current prescription? How awesome and how powerful would it be if exercise and nutrition can play a role in possibly lowering blood pressure? Now, in all fairness, there are some things that happen with the aging. We can get into the loss of elasticity of the circulatory system, atherosclerosis, and all of that stuff. That's fine, but let's remove that. Like in any good science project or physics experiment, neglecting friction and wind resistance. Let's neglect that. And let's talk about the reality that there's a lot you can do by just getting moving. Get off your ass, start exercising. What we're seeing is, and we're not cardiologists, we see an improvement. And again, I'm not playing doctor, not prescribing anything. I'm not recommending, not telling you to ignore doctor's advice, but what we're seeing is 3 hours. 3 hours of the right exercise will help you accomplish your health, wellness, and weight loss goals. When we talk about heart health, we see here in the field at FitWorks, we see a pretty significant improvement in cardiac recovery, improvement in resting heart rate, an improvement in blood pressure. And we usually have clients come back and say that their doctor, their cardiologist, is confirming what they're seeing at Walgreens or they're seeing here if we do their blood pressure, that yes, they're getting better. The key is 3 hours of the right exercise. So really, you're not giving up that much couch time. You're not giving up that much time in front of the TV. All you need to do is make 3 hours a week, make that investment in yourself. It could have serious implications, because if you can get closer to that 120 systolic number, and again, mine at almost 40 years old, 118, I'm pretty much right there without taking prescription drugs. If you could get even closer without drugs, maybe your doctor says, hey, you don't need the drugs, or maybe they say, hey, you only need a very little bit of a prescription drug to get there. Ironically, in addition to the heart health stuff, we had a member bring in a really kick-ass article, Circuit Train Your Brain, highlighting the benefits, again, why you need to get off your ass, and the impact on the brain. And it actually has got a really cool diagram on here. If you guys are interested, ask, and we'll post this to I'll post the diagram to our Facebook page. So if you're interested, you're tuning in, you're watching this on Periscope, YouTube, one of our other media outlets, or off our Facebook social media page or pages. If you want the diagram, ask, we'll put it up. But, for example, sports drills. Improves your attention, switching between tasks, inhibition, aerobic exercise has an impact on the hippocampus and memory, high intensity interval training, appetite regulation, cravings, and addiction. Let me say that again. Interval trainings, not just for fat loss, has a huge impact on the brain. Namely, some of the research is finding that people have reduced cravings, maybe it's a sugar craving, or reduction in the need to smoke, drink, etc. That's the interval training, or high-intensity interval training. Yoga improves thought and emotion, lifting weights, complex thinking, reasoning, multitasking, problem solving. So again, if it's 3 hours of the right training, you can tick off the weight training, sports drills. We do this all the time, even with our older population, something we call Evolution Platinum. We will have them do agility ladders. Yes, we have 70-year-olds doing agility ladders. We'll have them doing hand-eye coordination stuff. We'll have them kicking soccer balls. So sport drills, interval training, or what we call metabolic work, it's always a part of our training. And then aerobic exercise, there's always an aerobic component built into the way we train. 3 hours a week is all you need. Tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of benefit for both youth. There's a good book called Spark. It talks about 0 hour or pre-school day PE based on heart rate. Its impact of kids doing that before school PE, interval in nature, heart rate based on the individual. Major improvements in the classroom, improved reading comprehension, improvement in a very significant amount on standardized testing nationally. Naperville School District was a school district. But then also the impact to the aging populations, everything from balance, stability, likelihood to take a fall, all improved through exercise because of the benefit to the brain. Then we can get into dopamine levels, all the feel-good chemicals and everything else. A lot of the stuff that people seek out, whether it's nicotine or caffeine or alcohol or illegal drugs, there are a lot of things you can do by just getting active, get off your ass, get off the couch. Ray Binkowski, author of the books Get Fit and Live Healthy and Eat by Color, owner of FitWorks Hybrid Training Gym in DeKalb, Illinois. One last thing I want to share is I used to have a radio show for about 2 years. At that time, my gym was located across the street from the hospital, and I used to say all the time, if you're going to come down this same road, you're either going to make a left into the hospital or right into my club. The choice is yours. Getting active, proactively taking care of your health and wellness is a lot more fun, a lot less expensive than the alternative, which is ending up in the hospital.